Good evening and welcome to another Speed Gaming presents the league playoffs. We have a open bracket match here between Spoiled Leftovers and New Hyrule Order. I'm joined tonight by Chimo in the comms booth, and we have a matchup between dazedcloud for Spoiled Leftovers and SEJay for New Hyrule Order. Spoiled Leftovers were the division winners in the Eastern Palace division of the Open League, with New Hyrule Order coming in second place, one game behind. How you doing tonight, Chimo?
In the right channel now, so that's good.
So we're having a few technical difficulties on the restream here. We can see dazedcloud is running ahead of SEJay, where our restreamer is frantically trying to sort this out. But meanwhile, we're gonna forge ahead and hopefully watch a good race here.
Yep.
You want to remind our viewers or tell our viewers what the mode is for our power players tonight?
It seems to be 80 keys, although I'm surprised to see Dave's playing that.
Yeah, I believe 80 keys with a assured sword. So a relatively tame mode for these power players. Uh, 80 keys, a mode in which Dazed won in week 6. It looks like, or no, he had a loss to Boulder in week 6 in 80 keys, which is maybe why you're saying you're surprised that he's playing it this time around. And a mode that SEJay won in week 6 for New Hyrule Order. So this, a little bit of gamesmanship here in choosing the modes, perhaps.
Yeah, some randomness as well. I don't know exactly how the picking went on, but I know Dave's, I'm pretty sure he vetoed Randomizer first of all.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well, was the Randomizer was happily vetoed by Dazed. SEJay was not unhappy about that pick. And SEJay picked the Assured Sword. I'm not sure what the second mode that Dazed picked was, but we ended up with an 80 keys.
Yeah, it's fairly tame and normal, but obviously got to do all the dungeons. You're going to clear a lot of the game. You often have to search for really dumb things like a second Agate Tower key. So that's the mode. It's off probably usually around the 2-hour mark, depending how fast it goes.
Yeah, it's a mode I really enjoy watching because it showcases a lot of execution and efficient routing. The name of the game is avoiding double dips of dungeons and just trying to loop checks together as efficiently as possible. And we see already SEJay picking up the Moon Pearl early on in this CAC route.
Yeah, it's similar vein to cross keys, where you just, I think, kind of plan to do everything, but you want to do it as efficiently as possible. So a lot of runners really like this mode because they feel it's a little bit less random and that you can't get, screwed by ice rod in a bad place or something like that. You just you got to clear a lot more, so you aren't going to avoid pendant pod or anything like that like you might in an open mode. So
yeah, certainly a lot less chance of getting randoed in 80 keys, although they can be just as gross as any other mode.
Well, we're early on here. I got to give Dave some flack because one of the races he commed last week that I was in, I screwed up my delay and I just had no stream for like the whole race until Ganon. So nice to know the team is good at streaming.
Well, consistency in a good team is important, and I think that's
yeah, we've worked on that consistency, I will say.
For chat who don't know, Chimo is a member of the Spoiled Leftovers, and I am a member of New Hyrule Order. So we've got both teams well represented in the booth here tonight, and we will be completely biased in our calling and roasting of our teammates.
Yeah, that's the plan. If Dazed ever gets his stream going, or if we get him on here, McMonkey,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sure
the
we'll
plan
be
was
kind
is
to him,
to.
but
Sorry, I was going to say I think the plan here is to pause Dazed, to hide the video until CJ gets to the 11-minute 9-second mark, and then Dazed will be let go here on the restream, and we'll have them synced on the restream, if not in real life.
worth noting, because I don't know if we did, this is game 2. New Higher Order obviously took the first one, so and there's a second one after this match. So if New Higher Order manages to win 2 tonight, they move on.
Yeah, certainly an exciting night for both teams. I know you're rooting hard for a game 4 or 5 at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see the hook shot on the library, as Philistine chat is being kind enough to point out.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. We have no information about dungeons yet, although it's 80 keys, so we need to do them all. So we 100% need that hook shot locked behind boots, which are in GT probably.
Could be. Although I think seeing an important item on library gives some hope usually that maybe the boots won't be too far off.
So really not a lot in Kakariko though. Looks like you got that, like Moon Pearl obviously you want is good. Other than that, a shovel and some hook shot you can't get yet. So it's pretty dry.
Yeah, some important information, but that's about it. The shovel ended up not being anything important. So we see CJ going over to Agina here early. This is a play that I like to do. There's never really a convenient time or way to get over to Agina early in the game. So if there's something important here, doing it right after Dam is about as close as you're going to get otherwise. And if you put it off, as we've actually seen on a couple of races earlier today, it can cost you some pretty significant time if you last location something in Agina here early in the game.
Yeah, I see people doing this, and wow, there's a hammer. So good job. That's the right call to seed, 100%. And the race before this that I was watching, the Moon Pearl was there, so that was also the right call. So I don't know, Agina skippers, maybe we should stop. I probably won't stop.
It's hard to break those habits. I feel like it's a check that could lose you a few seconds over doing it with boots or a flute later on, but could gain you minutes if the right item is there, as we saw with the Moon Pearl or the hammer in this case.
Yeah, it's always been a thing. It routes in so well if you're doing desert, if you're doing Smith chain, if you're doing Mire and have the mirror. So it just is much more efficient to do later, and it's quite a slow check by itself, walking. So if you're gonna skip one in Light World early, that's gonna be the one for sure. But it could be quite painful for you if you do it in the seed like this.
Yeah, and speaking of the flute, there's the way to do it even faster, and there's our Dark World access right away. Mini Moldorm Cave. It's not often you see that quick a Dark World access in an AD keys.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That flute in Mini Moldorm Cave, in my opinion, makes that early Agina dip not worth it at all because it's pretty quick to go check now, and you get information of what's on the ledge as well. So it kind of depends how people play it, but I wouldn't be too worried if Dazed in his dark stream skipped that early.
I see CJ heading right over to activate that flute. A little surprised he didn't check the back of escape with the glove.
Yeah.
It's an easy enough check. It's never going to get any quicker or easier. You're going to save and quit afterwards. But maybe activating the flute and then hop around the Light World a little bit more. We'll see if he goes right into Dark World instead.
I don't know what it is about that back of escape. It's easy to forget, it seems like, but if you're playing regular modes, it's like glove,
Absolutely.
do back of escape, glove, do back escape. I need it written on the wall behind me.
Yeah, I feel like especially if I don't do it immediately after getting gloves, then it's gonna be forgotten. So we see SEJay floating down, pulling out the hammer. He's going right to Hype Cave. Can't blame him here. I think this makes the most sense.
Yeah, this is pretty much the expected play. Early Dark World access with the hammer. Head straight for Hype Cave. Check out usually your map. See what you're looking at for pendants. You need to do all the dungeons, but it's still pretty valuable to know what your GT access is, especially. Green pendant's pretty valuable. Ped is possibly important, usually not.
Yeah, and early on in AD keys, and we're seeing this in action here, it makes sense to clear a lot of the overworld so you can accumulate keys and access items so that you can minimize the number of times you have to dip into the dungeons. You want to be able to ideally clear them 100%, or at least be able to finish them the first time you go in.
Yeah, absolutely. Double dipping dungeons is usually a necessity in this mode, but you definitely want to minimize it. So the more kind of keys you can gather efficiently, the better. He gets those mitts, he's gonna head over to Stumpy and dig game probably into Village Outcast. It's pretty nice when mitts are in Hype Cave.
Yeah, when mitts are anywhere between Hype and dig game, it's very convenient. Starting at Hype Cave with your Dark World access.
Unless they're on Stumpy and you go the other way. That gives us pretty early mire area access as well. Which is usually a check I see people do pretty quick. Mire shed.
Yeah, that's a good point. The next time he saves and quit, I imagine we'll see that minor area check.
Nothing but rupees on day game. And it's
Looks like
pretty
we got
healthy right now.
Dazed's timer running, so I think we're about to get our first glance at where Dazed is 12 minutes into the seed.
It's a good sign.
Interesting call picking up the Smith here. This will preclude SEJay from going in and well, actually, preclude him from going into Thieves Town, or is it only stop him from finishing?
I believe he can't go in. In entrance, you can bring him into dungeons, but not in non-entrance. So yeah, that's kind of the awkward thing about coming this way, is you're probably coming back for Smith or bringing with you leaving Thieves Town. Front of Thieves is pretty nice, like 4 items, they're not too slow. It basically doesn't cost you anything to double dip for the back later. So we'll see what he does with all this. He also like can bring the Smith back and get right back into Dark World here, so that's an option as well. We have Dazed video. This is exciting.
I don't think Dazed video is correct at this point. I can't imagine that he hasn't gotten to Blind's Hut by the 13-minute mark, but maybe, I guess it's possible. I guess it's possible to have skipped the village entirely to start, depending on where that moon problem was.
Yesterday we were talking about.
I would be shocked to see Dazed doing like some crazy opening. He ended up getting his hammer and stuff before going to Kakariko.
Well, maybe because he's got the mirror and he appears to be in the Dark Village, same as SEJay, so I'm not sure where he would have picked up the mirror. I don't think we saw SEJay pick up a mirror, but maybe he's going to pick it up right here in C-shaped house. There you go.
Yeah, that's actually.
Well, that's good routing by him to pick up the Smith, knowing the mirror is in C-shaped house.
Yeah, Seed Reader is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it works out really well. You can turn it in the Smith now. Do hammer pegs, Thieves Town. Likely leave.
Yeah, he already did hammer pegs. He could just flute and do the purple chest at this point as well, and leave the portal back by flute spot 3, and just have that whole Smith chain taken care of.
gotta see the beginning of this, how Daze did it. Getting to do Kakariko with the mirror with Dark World is like a unicorn event.
Yeah, I wonder if it was an Uncle start with bombs, and then you've got the sword, so then you can head down south instead of going around the village. With an assured sword start, that's certainly a lot more possible than in a regular seed.
Right here.
The problem with
see
Uncle
SEJay walking down to K45.
Oh, yes.
Smart
Yeah.
play here with the purple chest.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say that the problem with Uncle Start and Assured Sword is that you probably want to dip escape too, because you can do the front of escape as well. At least I think that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and it's something that we discussed in our team chat over the course of the week. One of the guys timed it, and actually doing a saving quit from Uncle and then going to the front of escape is only a couple seconds slower, like I think on the order of like 3 seconds slower than blocking from inside the Uncle checks over the front of escape. And the conclusion there was, well, if that's the case, you're not really losing any time by going back to it later.
Interesting. I didn't know it was quite that close.
But we see Dazed here, able to use the flute and the shovel. SEJay, walked over there after getting the shovel in the village. Dazed able to loop it in with the K45 check. Certainly a little more efficient. And a very early Bombo's tablet check. Just some bombs, though. To answer the question in chat from Mr. Puzzle, all of these playoff matchups are a best of 5. Each of the 3 players on the team will get a match, and then, if necessary, games 4 and 5 will be played by members of the team as chosen for those games. So we've got players matched up based on their pendant for the first 3. This is the power pendant matchup between these 2 teams. Yeah, and as expected, SEJay heading right over to Meyer area. I think that was that a Bombos entry into Meyer?
I could not catch it quick enough. But likely. Small key to swamp.
That's always a nice one to find early. And this works out really well, having picked up the mirror in the village. You had said earlier, Meyer area was probably the next stop after he went back to the light level, and now he can get Checkerboard Cave and not leave that orphan behind.
Yeah, definitely that mirror makes total sense to come over here like right away.
Dazed side, we're going to get our first look at the front 4 of Thieves. Of course, we won't be able to see the back 4 without finding the Thieves' big key first. And on SEJay's side, I imagine we're going to get a look at a couple of things inside the desert. Only 2 checks available at the moment. I'm sorry, no. 1 check available at the moment.
Yeah, you get knowledge of the torch, which can be useful.
Certainly can.
Be pretty useful.
That's 2 important items locked behind Boots, which is pointing even more towards Boots probably coming sooner than later.
Yeah, I would agree with that now. Unlikely for both Hook and Kane to be locked behind GT.
But if you're not in chat, Boots could be on Ped if you're looking for misery. It's unlikely that they're both pendants, TR, Meyer, and Swamp.
Depending how Dazed routes Skull Woods here, we may know right away.
Yeah, that's a very good point. With the mirror in the book, he'll be able to check what's on Ped. And usually you would see that when someone's going into the back of Skull Woods, but in this case, if you're going to steal the key anyway, you might as well pop out the other side and see what's on Ped.
think that's likely something you definitely want to know in AD keys. You're going to be clearing your pendants at some point anyways, so if there's something important there, you can kind of rush them.
Yeah, I think the Saha bot in chat is for everything saying that it's game number 3. I saw that earlier in a game 2 matchup. It was mistakenly saying that it's game 3. This is actually game 2 of the series.
We got Kane at Burn on Ped, so we won't be seeing that. No boots. No boots of misery.
It's sad but true.
If I'm a runner, I'm happy to see a couple items on the torches here. And them not being on Ped.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at the rounds just
Yeah, early
starting.
flute, early
Okay,
boots,
this is
that's the
amazing.
dream when
Look,
you
I already
do
have
keys, right?
250 drink rounds.
Yeah, and mirror to go along, you can route really efficiently. SEJay doing Uncle right now. Wow, there's a fire rod inside of Skullwoods. I don't know, that probably shouldn't be that exciting, but...
Well, it's always nice to find the fire rod. I think, you know, in an open seed, that would be a lot more earth-shattering than an AD keys.
Yeah, Skullwoods has a lot more checks in this mode. But still, somewhere near its vanilla location. Always fun. This isn't a mode where you, in like an open, I see plenty of racers put off dipping Skullwoods, but it's pretty risky to do that in this mode, so I wouldn't expect SEJay to miss that for too long.
No, certainly not. But interestingly, Dazed dropping in. He does have a key, so he won't get soft locked here in Skullwoods. Surprised he didn't just head right back to the back to fight him off and check the last check there. I guess maybe hoping for another sword in the front here before heading back there.
Yeah, that 5 heart Master Sword Moth is a little bit uncomfy. Especially no boots.
Oh, he's got the hammer. The hammer is basically free, right?
It's free until it's not, yeah. Bombos in the pinball chest. I did not know you could walk up the right of there. Okay, this is a loaded Skullwoods. Got
Yeah, absolutely.
Fire Road, Bombos, something else is in there.
And the lamp.
Yeah, the lamp.
The lamp was the other one. Meanwhile, SEJay not finding a whole lot in front of escape here.
Wait, did Murders have dead zone?
You're just never gonna see this stuff outside of Kroski's, just mirroring outside of Skullwoods to check the forest spots. Nice big key there.
Yeah, I gotta give credit to Dazed. This is a very creative and fun route that he's put together so far in the seed, and I think it's working out well for him so far.
I'll have to ask Days later to teach me how to play 80 keys. But yeah, I picked up a heart container in the mushroom or Lost Woods hideout, so that's pretty nice. 1 extra heart even on Mothir, definitely welcome.
Having second thoughts about going to the back still, though.
Oh,
Yeah. Interesting.
Meanwhile, SEJay not deterred by the lack of all of the fire sources that Dazed picked up. He's heading right to Dark Cross and is rewarded with a Turlock small key.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, those are important. More so in this than in entrance. You definitely need 3. You need 4 if anything's in lava chest, which you usually end up abandoning if it is nothing.
Yeah, I think that's the single most common skip in an AD keys.
111.
SEJay's
Yeah, I
going to
think
check
this is actually
both of the
good.
available Agate Tower chests here. We'll see how he does in the Dark Maze without a fire rod or lamp. That can be a tricky spot to check.
My grandma keeps changing this.
We got a small key on Lumberjack, which we may have seen before, but I didn't get to see. So that could be awful, it could be nothing. Which part of escape is SEJay in right now?
He's up in Agate Tower and he's
Oh.
working his way through the Dark Maze right now. And I think he's found the chest. Good
That's the
job there.
second item there.
That's not easy to do.
That's important in this mode. 2 items in there with just 1 key.
SEJay playing the menu game. Yeah, you gotta give him a seat on that menu. When you've only got 5 items or so, spending a couple seconds in the menu feels bad with quick swap enabled.
Yeah, sometimes, I don't know, you just know the route to the item you want in the menu and it's easier. I know a lot of times, if it's like NMG menuing, it's so hard to do quick swap sometimes.
So we see SEJay heading back to the village here. I imagine this is going to be the Skullwoods checks that Dazed just did. Meanwhile, Dazed checking Graveyard Ledge there. Heading over maybe to turn jump over to Catfish.
What was it called?
That's what it looks like.
I feel like this is a trick that, you know,
Yeah, freaking, that's so
is relatively well known, although there's a large portion of runners who are maybe not as well practiced, and he nails it first try. That was well done.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow setup, but it was pretty good. I'm a fan of the setup where you walk past the corner of the tree and drop the bomb for timing, and you just move up the pixel. But first try, can't complain about that.
Certainly not.
Oh no, that statue. That room can go terribly wrong.
Yeah, you make one mistake and then that's going sideways on you. Interestingly, SEJay coming in here without a Skullwood Small, looks like. Oh no, sorry. This is where Dazed picked up the Skullwood Small, was stealing the pot. SEJay gonna do the same thing, go to the front, get his bombos and lamp and everything else, and then we'll see if he decides to try the 5-heart Mothula or not.
Yeah, meanwhile, Daze picked up a big key to Mire on Catfish, so that's an interesting location.
That is, and that means that Myra will be beatable as soon as we find the boots. With boots, be able to pick up that red cane on desert.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can't get into Mire until we get those boots either, with Hookshot being locked by them.
Yeah, actually, Boots gives them both Mire and Swamp Palace. They have the Swamp Palace big, so they can full killer Swamp. They both have... Oh, I'm sorry. Daze does not have the Swamp Palace small key yet. At least it's not shown on the tracker.
I have 8 rocket ladders.
That was, I believe, in Mire's shed.
Yeah, so you have to imagine Dazed will get there relatively quickly.
Yeah, and for like rushes.
But yeah, as Chet is quickly correcting, the Mire Swamp will not be clearable until they find the actual flippers. Can't fake flipper your way through Swamp. At least not yet.
And I would put Maggie's in and
Yeah, it's doable, but not under these rules.
We see Dave's going to set up another splash delete here. This one's a little trickier. You've got a lot tighter timing to be able to get off the waterfall and still have all of those items on the screen before you hop down.
Yeah, look like he buffering those arrows, which I haven't seen many people do, but that's kind of smart.
He's with his bomb count. He's got one more try at this.
What was on the ledge? I missed it. Or did we both miss it?
I think we both missed it. Yeah.
Must be something, because he's going for it. Okay, he gets it, so we gotta see what it was. Oh, big
That for a
key.
big
Yeah,
key too. Desert Palace. That's a good one to
you're
have.
gonna want that. That makes desert clearable, but not logically, and we can't get all those things in it yet. Unless the small key's in the big chest in desert. This looks like our first look at Death Mountain, I believe. I mean, we don't really know what Daze did for the first 50 minutes of the seed, but...
Well, without the mirror or the hook shot, I can't imagine he
What is ebb flow?
did a whole lot up on Death
They're
Mountain.
off the dress how random speed.
Would be surprising. That flute was fairly early, so we did have some access to it. I don't think Daze has got to head over to Meyer area pretty quick.
Yeah, although the draw the mountain is strong with the number of items up there.
That fire multiple shots doing that.
True. And it looks like Daze is going to take your advice on mine, so...
Well, if it wouldn't be my advice, I would check Meyer area first, just in case you find something like the Hera
Oh,
Big
man,
Key.
did you know that
that would
lightning
make it
stuns
a
guys?
little more palatable. But, you know, you can't fault the go to where it's most green
I got
strategy
the ball.
when looking at your map tracker.
Yeah. Also, he's like, yeah, if you found like a desert small key, that area becomes super enticing because you can full clear desert while you do that, and may just be
Yeah,
hoping
that's
for
a good
one or
point.
two
It goes
more
both
things.
ways.
Heart.
Looks like CJ's diving into
Or we can try to get
that
someone
cave
to
here.
a move
Not
to
sure.
try to start
Oh, we got
off,
small
so
key.
we can
Is
set up
this
for really good
the
guys.
commentator's blessing? Desert Palace small? No, just a Meyer small.
Misery Mire. That's definitely
Close.
nice to have where you go into Mire.
CJ trying the bomb jump there. I think he was a little too far from the edge in order for that to work.
So does anyone time this out? Is it faster to walk out or save and quit? Especially with no boots.
I certainly haven't timed it.
Yeah, I haven't either, but
it's
I've
gotta be
seen
pretty
people
close.
save and quit there.
The save and quit also has the added benefit of avoiding the walk of shame.
Yeah.
You can just save and quit and pretend that your bomb jump failure never happened.
Red boomerang on the ether tablet. CJ mirrors pretty low and gets that heart piece. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
I imagine it is. I think with
Or 5 slots, then I would,
you know,
I would have
under 7 hearts, 8 hearts, I think his comfort zone is 8 hearts blue mail. So, you know, if he's got less than that, I think he's happy to pick up a couple heart pieces.
Small keys everywhere.
Another small key.
I guess that's the mode.
Yeah, and it's interesting seeing these different routes going across the mountain. CJ doing the Spec Cave first, and then hopping into Hera. We see Dazed going over to Spiral. I imagine we'll see him do the entirety of Light and Dark East Death Mountain before ending with Hera.
Well,
Potentially Spike Cave as well after Hera.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. Those 2 Hera items are pretty quick. But I guess you could be hoping to get hookshot or something. No, he knows where hookshot is probably. Yeah, just route it over that way, I guess.
Yeah. Leo in chat is asking about the blue mail that Dazed apparently has. She's very familiar with that sprite, so I'll trust her on that. I imagine it would have to be something like Ice Rod Cave. I think Ice Rod Cave is the only early check that we did not see SEJay do that Dazed might have done.
It's a very green blue mail.
Dazed trying out all the items on the wall there.
That's some quick swap
love
fun. Stuff we never used to get to see.
Yeah, as long as you're not mirroring in a dungeon or using a critical potion at the wrong time. I've seen that a couple of times already. It's never fun.
Seen some bad mirrors even just this season of League. Big key to thieves.
Yeah, similar to Desert, you're hoping to see both the big and the small before you go into full clear. But you know, the big may be enough, especially for SEJay, who hasn't even checked the front 4 there.
Yeah, it's a mode where it's pretty risky to orphan something like the Thieves' Big Chest, so I think you'll often see runners kind of put that off a little bit, hoping to find what they need to open it.
Yeah, there's some really interesting risk management strategies that you have to go through on AD keys, because you know, at a certain point, if you've got whatever it is, 8 checks in Thieves or 7 checks in Thieves, and you'll be leaving one behind, that becomes too good to pass up. But you know, at what point do you cross that threshold? That's the balance that you have to play in this mode. But so far, nothing earth-shattering
Oh, but I'm
here
looking
on the
at the
mountain.
Great Cannon's
Let's see what this small key is on floating island.
$10,000.
Quake access to
Last
TR.
upgrade is 200.
There you go. There's that small key to Desert, as requested by Chima.
That just makes my area so nice, though, I think. You get the info of your medallion, full clear desert plus Mire Shed and checkerboard.
Yeah,
And
if
it would
you're
be a great time to do Gina's Cave if you skipped it and didn't get your hammer early in this speed.
yeah on SEJay's side, you'd have to be hoping for boots at this point in order to make that desert play again, right? So even with the big key and the small key, you probably want to have boots so that you're not having to triple the desert.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You gotta hope they're not sitting in desert then, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's too bad to come back to that area anyways, though, with the flu.
But that's a good point about, you know, if you're waiting forever to be able to full clear something, right? You know, if you're waiting, putting off Thieves Down because you don't have the small key, putting off Pod because you don't have the 4 keys or so that you want to be able to clear everything there. You could be putting off important progression. You know, the game may require you to double dip a dungeon. And if you're putting those double dips off too long, you might be setting yourself back pretty far.
Keys in dungeons can really mess with you in this mode because you're really trying to read the logic of the seed a lot. Like, if you haven't seen 4 keys to pod, like, not much is in logic there, so it may affect your decision to go there. If there's 3 keys sitting in there, that can really, I don't know, it can make you put off progression pretty good. I think that's one of the worst things in this mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Very similar to, you know, vanilla item locations and open sea.
I didn't even notice.
And despite the different routes, it looks like we've got, you know, perfect sync going into Spike Cave here.
Yeah, half magic and cape. It's pretty nice for this.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of magic to hold on to in the end.
I'm trying to get someone right there.
And there is our swamp access.
Well, now the worst place for boots is in swamp.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because it's effectively hookshot in swamp at that
I
point.
wonder what Bill says.
And it looks like Dazed heading right to swamp. I don't think he's done Bombo's tablet yet.
Can I run faster? Oh no, the waves are catching up.
Oh no, this is Highly Island. There is an item on Highly
Swamp be
Island.
there, I think. I could be wrong. We saw it earlier, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and SEJay cleaning up those flipper checks that we've already seen on our days. That was a good fairy cave. I think I missed that for. Oh, boots! Okay, we definitely didn't see that. Boots on the island.
Very interesting. And SEJay obviously didn't see that, or he would have gone right there. You don't want to be going through Boots Source Domain without Boots if you can help it. So we'll see if he, after saving and quitting on Zora, or actually he might just walk out after getting his big key. We'll see if he heads back for Hobo and the island check.
Yeah, following those flipper checks, you think he might not leave Hobo off too long, which is going to get him that, but we'll see. Hobo for a red rupee, but the knowledge of the island is what's important. That gives us a bunch of stuff to do.
Yeah, in Dazed Mind, he can go get the hook shot and full clear swamp. Although, no, he's still not showing as having that swamp small key. I'm not sure if that's a mistrack or if he...
That's he doesn't have it yet. That's in Meyer's shed, I believe. So.
All right. So yeah, so he knows he can get the hook shot, but that doesn't do a whole lot for him at this point. He doesn't know about the cane until he heads over to Meyer here. So Boots unlocks Bonk Rocks here, King's Tomb, but in Dazed's Mind, not a whole lot else at this point. Although you're still very happy to see the boots.
I guess I'm a bit surprised neither of these runners opted to do Mothula, but maybe they're just hoping to find those Skullwoods big key before going back there or something.
And it looks like SEJay is gearing up to go into Ice Palace now. I think,
Then try get
I would hope that he's going to check the Highly Island item before hopping in. Or maybe just going straight for the Highly Island, pulling it blind.
Yeah, that's not a bad play either. Definitely not in this seed. Dazed heading straight for that hook shot, so he clearly knew about that. I don't see anyone check library, so that's pretty not surprising.
Yeah, my only issue with what SEJay is doing here is if the plan is to go into ice afterwards, you know where the red cane's in desert. You've now got the desert big and the desert small. You're
Wait, I started out with 100.
If you knew this was Boots, oh, maybe he's planning to go to desert, get his red cane, and then finish desert, and then head over to Ice Palace after that.
Still going.
I have faith. I have faith that he knows what he's doing. And he's certainly paying way more attention to the items and the seed than I am at this point.
Yep.
Not that I'm not interested. It's just we got two different screens going on here. We're having a good conversation. We got chat entertaining us. There's a lot going on. We
nice
have, in fact, seen the red cane.
Yeah.
It's nice to sit back and relax. Although you've got to hop right into work mode after this, huh?
Yeah, for sure. But at least I don't have to play this mode. I don't know. Personally, I'm not.
That's
not
a fair
fan.
point.
This mode feels to me like just a bunch of ice rod hunts, and I don't enjoy it really. If you're gonna do key sanity, you might as well add in entrance. Makes it more interesting.
Yeah, that's the great thing about playing this and playing in the league. The mix of settings that we have available to us. There's something for everybody here.
I realized Dazed is in ice without the cane because he doesn't know about it, so this is like pretty unfortunate for him.
Yeah, it's really interesting diving into Ice Palace without the cane, having not checked Mire area and Desert being full clearable.
Yeah, I'm personally not a fan of. There's just a lot of quick checks in Mire, but he does. He has an Ice Palace small key and the big key. It's full clearable. Just one key out of logic or whatever. I assume that's needed. No one knows ice logic, but so it's a good play, but unfortunately, yeah, it's gonna cost him a couple minutes. I think that's the difference between a full clear with and without icebreaker. I think it's just a matter of like prioritizing stuff you can full clear in this mode. So ice is full clearable, you gamble a bit that cane is locked by it or somewhere horrible later in the seed.
Yeah, it sure seems like the red cane is in Ice Palace a disproportionate amount of the time.
That's like the stupid Plando tournament. That's like the favorite plant, red cane and Ice Palace.
Especially by the icebreaker haters.
Yeah. I love icebreaker. Makes ice so much nicer.
I 100% agree. The best glitch to be discovered in the past 5 years.
And it's not like if you want to be competitive, you can't know the Ice Palace bomb jump. You still need to know that because it comes up often enough, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially if you're gonna speedrun the NMG category, you certainly got to know the bomb jump. And there's plenty of times where you're forced to go into Ice Palace without that red cane, and like we said, that red cane can be buried behind the Ice Palace bomb jump.
SEJay taking care of Land Mullis, who just gets a compass for his trouble.
The compass to desert, very useful.
Is that our first crystal of the match? Up for new Hyrule order.
Yeah, first blood, a short dungeon, but you got to get them all done. I imagine the first crystal or pendant for Dazed is about a minute or so away here. And we see SEJay gearing up for the Swamp Palace dive, so we'll get some new checks here. And welcome everybody from SpeedGaming 2. We've got a first round playoff matchup between New Hyrule Order and Spoiled Leftovers. Got our power players, our Pendant of Power players running a Assured Sword AD keys here.
I'm wondering how your team decided on its player order for League.
It was very scientific. I believe the question was asked, hey, who wants to be what? Penguin said, I'd like to do casual boots, and that was about the extent of the discussion. And then I think we might have played a couple of mystery seeds just to see, who did well in them. And SEJay volunteered himself to be power player, and I said I don't really care which one I do. So that made the decision making pretty easy. Was there any sort of process discussion on your guys' side?
I don't think we thought about it enough. It was early on, and we didn't think about the ramifications of it. But basically, not that different. I was like, well, I'm a big fan of casual boots. Being a pretty heavy NMG runner, basically it's the mode I've practiced the most by playing NMG. So that was it. So they put me down for that. We thought, I don't know if we didn't know entrance was part of this, but Dazed is a pretty good cross keys player, so we thought, well, he can take the random modes where there's a bunch of nonsense going on. And then Mystic ended up with open, but we're thinking now, like, it might have made more sense for Mystic to play that last one. He plays a lot more of the Randomizer swordless junk than either me or Dazed. But we're kind of setting the order now.
Yeah, certainly. It'd be a lot more interesting if the pendants could be chosen at the end of the season, because I think having more information about other teams, about how your team works together, that would make a big difference. I agree with the. I don't think we put quite enough thought into it, or maybe just didn't have enough information.
Yeah.
Mystic trying to keep some trade secrets here in case he plays in game 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's interesting too because the order obviously determines who you're playing against. Which if you could guess somehow, you might choose differently too. Get your top players together or something, or I don't know, one match you're not likely to win. I don't know.
Yeah, there would be a lot more strategy involved if you could either change your pendants for each round or choose them at the end of the season, something like that. But, the league so far this season has been such good competition, and the playoffs in particular, all of the teams in the playoffs, I think, are very closely matched. So no matter what order that the players are playing, who they're playing against, I imagine we're going to see good matchups, and we've got a good one going here so far.
Yeah, great match so far. It's really impossible, I think, to tell if either of these players is ahead. They're both clearing their second dungeon, different ones, of course. But they've got a lot of the same stuff. They've checked a lot of the same things as well.
Yeah, the interesting question will be once the Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, Desert Palace grouping is completed, since those are full clearable, those are no-brainers, where do you go next from here? They only have 2 pod keys on Dazed's side, looks like only 1 on SEJay's side, so pod's not really all that fun to go into. There's no Eastern Palace big key yet, you can't really go there. You don't, I guess you do have the Meyer big key on Dazed's side, so maybe that's an obvious next location.
Yeah, I think for Dazed, that makes sense. I don't think that SEJay has that. That was on Catfish. I don't think he went up that way yet. So he's got the option to dip Meyer, but hopefully he doesn't do that before he finds a big key.
Yeah, that certainly would be an unfortunate time loss. Yeah, and it'll be interesting because some of the discussion leading up to this was about AD keys in particular, how punishing it can be to orphan things. I think there was a recent practice seed where Bombo's tablet bit SEJay hard. He was doing really well. It was a good time, but decided to orphan Bombo's tablet, and that happened to have the one key item that he needed. And so the plan was to try wherever possible not to hard orphan things. If he ends up leaving Catfish behind and dips Meyer, that'll sort of be going against the stated intentions, so definitely could give him some crap about that later, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely. Catfish is one of those locations, it's kind of hard to get to, and if you leave it behind, it gets worse and worse. There's nothing really near it. Notably, we've got access to hookshot cave, and we can open Turtle Rock, although we really don't have a lot of keys for it yet.
Yeah, with that one key, let's see, you can get 3, 4 checks. Is that right?
That sounds right. That gets you to change off room. You definitely would like some more. You'd like 3 before going in, probably. The big key. I don't know if you can hope for all that. That's one of the worst dungeons in this mode, I think. Just because it's like so long and requires a bunch of keys to get everything. You got Mimic Cave in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's one of the more punishing ones to double dip. You know, and strangely, the further you can go on your first dip, the worse it is.
Yeah, it's nice in entrance where you like sometimes just have access to the back right away in the middle. But in this mode, you've got to go all the way through. Makes the keys very important.
And so we're getting our first look here at Meyer. Dave's taking care of Meyer 2 fairly efficiently. A little off script from the optimal, but you know, I mean, who does the optimal?
Well, there's the optimal and then the optimal. The fast Meyer 2 is impossible, but most people go for pretty quick Meyer 2.
Yeah, the reasonable optimal Meyer 2. I think the optimal Meyer 2 in this case would be just using the Ether Medallion. All that dashing and fire rotting, it uses up way too much energy.
You gotta save your strength. The rest of the dungeon's not that easy either.
It's in all dungeons, man. This is not a sprint. And we see SEJay using the icebreaker here. He'll be able to get through ice a lot faster, a lot less annoying, having to double back and check other things. And with that small key coming in, even Ice Tea will be a little bit nicer to check.
Yeah, one place with a lot of checks is Pod, but also requires a ton of keys for logic, especially. And you need quite a few to flow clear. So runner's not probably rushing to head over there, but it is an option. Meyer not seeming to give up a whole lot yet.
Certainly not.
Shield, heart piece, compass. Why'd I come in here?
Yeah, so the decisions for SEJay, unless he goes to Catfish, get a little bit murky once he leaves Ice Palace here.
Has he done Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb yet?
I don't believe that he has.
So it's potentially a way to route Catfish in, do it with those, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he did check Graveyard Ledge, however.
Yeah, so I guess you don't really need to be in Dark World. Well,
He may just be hoping that Ice Palace is a red crystal here, and then he could look at Pyramid Fairy with Catfish. That's a pretty thin hope, but it's better than nothing.
You can also kind kind of at you usually would leave it to last if you've got the items and don't need Dark World access, but you could do Aga Tower into Pyramid.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. With the lamp now, he's already got both. No, he only has the one key, so he would still need another key in order to get all the way through Aga Tower.
Yeah, we need another key.
Which often is the analog to the ice rod hunt. It's often the worst item to find last.
Get the cape strats on Vidi, just stand there and mash B.
Yeah, with half magic, no worries there. You just spamming the sword. You're not going to run out of magic by the time you kill all the eyes.
I imagine this is slower than dashing through them, but I'm not too sure.
With Master Sword, it might be close. I'm not entirely sure either.
It wouldn't be terribly different, at least for sure. There's a much later Ice Rod cave check out of SEJay than dazedcloud did. Small key to Skullwoods. That looks like it's gonna send him there to do Mothula and the bridge chest.
Yeah, that small key, you can finish things up here. You've got a lot more hearts and some potions, so Moth is not looking scary anymore. And for lack of anything better, you might as well do this, and this might route in nicely with Catfish. Although, making a liar of us, he's going to go do Thieves Town first.
That's a solid play. This is Thieves Town without the small key, I guess, but he hasn't been in here at all. That's right. So many checks. We'll see if he does go on to the back or if he's just diving the front before maybe heading to Skullwoods or somewhere else. Meanwhile, Dave's heading into Swamp Palace to pick up the crystal that SEJay already has.
Yeah, and of course we know from Dave's checking of Thieves Town there is nothing of value in this front four. But SEJay is in fact going to continue on to the back, so we'll get another 3 checks here, as well as see what dungeon prize is on blind.
Well, SEJay has that small key.
Oh, we must have missed that. Everyone involved here missed that small key, so this makes even more sense. He's not leaving anything behind. He's got 4 more checks. He's got to finish it anyway. This makes perfect sense to loop in with Skullwoods.
Yeah, 100%. Pretty much the next place you go, you got both keys and the hammer.
Yeah, so this route might work out, to be just a couple of extra mirror transitions. If he's going to loop in Skullwoods, he can mirror to do Bonk Ronks and King's Tomb, hop on over to Catfish without even having to do the current jump at this point. So it seems to all come out in the wash if this is the intention here.
Yeah, that's certainly good if you're trying to get Catfish. Pretty good.
We see Dazed heading over to the left side of Swamp. I think it's a lot more rare to skip left side Swamp in an AD keys.
Yeah, any sort of key sanity mode, you're pretty much... It's pretty risky to skip out on it, because they're definitely items.
Yeah, I think the only time you would skip it is if you were maybe 1 item from go mode coming into Swamp. You might check the back first. If you had some other easy checks, you might skip left side to begin with, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. But usually you won't skip it completely, just the back first. But it kind of depends. Small key to pod. Key hammerlocked in Thieves Town. So that's very useful. Also going to be logically required, of course. Puts CJ up to 3, which is not quite the number that you want.
Well, you can clear most of pod,
Yeah.
and with the hammer and the bow, complete it with 3. You're leaving behind a couple of things at that point. With the mirror, it's not too bad.
CJ takes care of blinds, not too bad. Except that pendant he was looking for.
And that's not a bad pendant to pick up before heading over to the pod area, if that's where he's headed after catfish. Although I have to think that once he sees that Misery Mire big key, that the plan might change from pod, since Mire will be full clearable. A lot of speculation and projection going on here. It's harder to predict routing in an AD keys than it is in an open or casual boots type of seed.
Well, I love, as a
CJ,
commentator,
skip it out on.
Yeah, skipping out on those boots checks. I love knowing there's something on catfish and you're trying to do some mental gymnastics. How do I get this runner there?
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly when that runner happens to be on your team.
Well, even if not, you don't want the race to be a blowout or something because somebody forgot to do catfish. Well, usually not forgot. Usually it's a choice of some sort.
Yeah, and I think even chat likes misery in the races, but they like equal misery in the races.
Suffering for all. Another sword at some point is probably gonna be looking for. It's Argus with Master Sword is not the fastest thing in the world.
Not at all. Yeah, another sword, silvers, those would both be welcome additions at this point.
Not quite nailing those fire rod shots on Argus either, making this phase 2 a lot slower. Well, that looked good, but it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, Argus second phase is one of those things that I've never taken the time to look at exactly how many hits of what things are needed. So, when doing if I miss the optimal fire rod spin, I'm just spinning until he's dead because I have no idea how many more fire rod shots it's gonna take.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 fire rod shots plus tempered spin, or 3 fire rod shots plus mastered spin, I think we'll do it. One silver arrow is always the best if you have those.
Yeah, assuming you've got the timing down, the silver arrow works well.
Ice rod works the same as fire rod, but that's a little bit harder because the timing is quite a bit different.
So finally we see CJ heading into the back of Skullwoods here. We'll get these 2 checks for the first time, and we see Dazed heading into Thieves Town, so he'll go get his green pendant.
Yeah, following a bit behind CJ, this is the play that makes sense. These guys can full clear these 2 dungeons, so that's where you head to. Notably, Dazed has Mire done, and CJ doesn't yet. He's Thieves Town ahead. I'm kind of praying for something good to be on Moth here that they could have had for ages.
That would be nice. Yeah, an Eastern Palace big key maybe.
Yeah. Takes care of Moth. That's not a bad fight. Master Sword is not the easiest.
Yeah, got a little tense there at the end. That's a lot of potential hearts. He didn't drop in with all of them though.
Yeah.
We've got a second pendant here, which is not going to be of much value, us knowing what's on PED. We'll see if SEJay decides to check PED or if he goes to skip it.
And he too
Can't
gets
help
his
himself. He's going to check
chain
the
of
PED.
Pirna knowledge. Yeah, I don't think there's much chance you skip that check. It's pretty quick. The knowledge can be extremely useful. And he's gonna head to Mire, probably.
That's what it looks like. I don't think there's anything else left to do in this area with Desert down and all the Mire area stuff down.
Pretty close here. A little bit of Thieves.
Yeah, Dave's just got to finish
Velvet.
up Thieves.
Yep. Exactly.
Combined, that's about equal to a Mire, and then do they both beeline for pod? I mean, SEJay's got 4 pod keys at this point, so it makes a lot more sense for him.
That's
And
definitely
a couple
gonna
of
be
TR keys.
the interesting play after this. Do you go pod eastern area, probably the dentist area open right now, or mountain, which has got a few checks as well. And a pretty nice fight for blind on dazedcloud's side, pretty close to script. Or right on there, probably.
Yeah, that looked pretty well on script.
Here's
So now knowing what the last pendant is going to be some relatively valuable information. If you know that pod or eastern is the last pendant, it's got to be in the back of your mind
how
that
fast
that
it was. Yeah, stream.
Yeah, so it's got to be in the back of their mind that whatever the last pendant is, the required big key for it could be stuck in GT. So I don't know how many maps they've picked up. It doesn't look like we know what Eastern is at this point, or Hera.
So,
Alright, and SEJay finishing up Mire here. While dazedcloud heads to the back of Skullwoods to fight with the Moth. SEJay taking an interesting route through Mire at this point. Not exactly sure. I don't think I've seen this particular route before. I appreciate the improvisation though.
Yeah, he does
Dazed
that.
taking on Mothula. Moth going down quite a bit easier for Dazed there.
It's supposedly a little bit faster for full clear if you do the routing right.
So we'll see where Dazed heads next. He's fluting to 4. This may be... is this a pyramid fairy check? I don't know if we know what the second... Well, it looks like based on our map tracker, the second red crystal is pod, so... not sure. Maybe this is a Bombos tablet. We'll see. This could just be an alternate way of getting to pod.
The possibly, I guess with flute, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
Oh, this makes sense. Having not checked the pyramid before, it makes sense to check this before heading over to pod. So using that portal under Link's house makes a lot more sense now. And we see SEJay using the same cape strats that dazedcloud was using. Trinex is going to be mad at him as well, with the less than optimal positioning on that, the cape slash strats.
oh, that's big if it's fun.
Bear with us here, Chad. I
Check
think
has a lot of, I think, good like speedrunning stuff.
we're having a little bit of internet audio issues. We'll get those sorted out. I know this has been a common theme for a lot of people now. A lot of people at home means a lot of stress on the internet backbone. So
See if I'd reconnect to Discord, see if that makes any difference.
that sounds like a good difference to me.
Perfect.
So SEJay finally getting around to doing these boots checks. Not going to find a whole lot here, so we'll see where he's headed next. dazedcloud hopping in to Agate Tower, Uncle checks, so these guys are just cleaning up the last few checks here that the other one had done. We are pretty locked in sync. I think it's hard to tell. I could not call who's ahead at this point. They seem to be dead on each other. Might give a slight advantage if these key counts are correct on the tracker, which I trust that they are. We have a great tracker, Felicity. You might give the slight edge to SEJay with the 4 pod smalls and the 2 TR smalls. Looks like pod's the next destination for SEJay now. And a nice early Saha's Hut check at 1 hour 18. He's really hoping to not see anything important in here at this point. And I think he's going to be happily surprised at the blue mail. Something that's nice to have, nice to see, but not important enough to mean that skipping it early was a problem. 4 smalls is enough to full clear pod, but we still need the big key in order to full clear pod at this point. Well, I shouldn't say full clear. 4 is enough to finish pod, right? I think you need 5 in order to get all of the checks if you hammer up. Unless you're going to do Bollock side a few times, which is a possibility, but not very appealing. So we'll see what Pod has for us today. So far, just a piece of heart. SEJay going right up the middle. I think with 4 keys it makes perfect sense. You're not going to try to do Bollock side multiple times. And a benefit of the key sanity mode is you can head straight to the back. You already have your small keys. You don't need to be checking all of those front checks, looking for small keys in order to make it back here. You can just beeline straight back and get to the good stuff. And if you get lucky and find the big key back here, then you can do Bollock side straight into the boss. And there it is. Once again, the commentator's blessing or curse, depending on how you're looking at it, comes through. We get the big key to pod inside of pod. This will allow SEJay to just hammer up this big chest and then mirror out, do the Bollock side straight into the boss. So worked out really well for him. Looks like Dazed is well, maybe not. He fluted to 5, but maybe he's going to check that green pendant Saha first. Oh, he had left a portal here. I missed that. So yeah, heading over to the pod area now. Yeah, and certainly Chimo was saying earlier how keys in their dungeons are often the trickiest, and pod seems to often have, there are so many pod keys between the big key and the 6 small keys that are out in the world that it at some point becomes fairly likely to see at least one of them. And there's that sword that we were talking about. That would be nice. So very shortly, Dazed will get his tempered sword and pod big key. He does have 1 fewer small key, so SEJay was able to check. Probably Harmless Hellway is the one that Dazed would be leaving behind here that SEJay was able to check. So that might make routing through here a little more awkward. Might have to do an extra mirror. Oh, never mind. We do have 4, so same situation as SEJay.
Okay, I think I'm back now. Apologies, my internet was really struggling.
No, that's fine. I can certainly commiserate.
So these guys are really close, actually.
Yeah, and with them both converging on pod now after doing a bunch of disparate checks, we can see perhaps SEJay has a half a pod advantage at this point. Although it's it's hard to say definitively without seeing the exact list of checks that they've done. But based on my faulty memory, I think they've done pretty much all the same checks that the other one did.
Yeah, it's definitely been pretty close. They've done a lot of the same things. So I'd say that's probably pretty fair.
So after pod here, where would you be heading next?
I mean, kind of depends, but likely Death Mountain, I think. I don't think we've seen Hookshot Cave, or at least not the 3 in it. You can do some stuff in TR.
Would you check Eastern without the big key at this point?
Yeah, that's the eternal question in Key Sanity. You're right here, so if there's something you need in there, it's probably no faster time. But it can always end up being a massive time waste.
But if you've got that third TR small in there, then you can go up the mountain and full clear, or not full clear, but clear TR, leaving behind lava chest.
See what these guys do. I think with boots, it's a lot easier of a choice to just dip. I think, but
Yeah, I think it's the safer option to dip Eastern, but potentially could cost you more time.
I'll tell you the difference between these two runners right now is one of them did Icebreaker, one of them did ice without the cane.
That's probably exactly it. That seems to be about the time difference here. So that desert knowledge, even though it was, a little bit of wasted time to pop into desert to get the one check and look at the torch, but it paid off in this case.
First 2 checks in East are not too worth it.
Yeah, it's at that point as a runner that you start to say, I knew I shouldn't have come in here.
I don't know, they've done a lot though, so yeah, there's not that much left in the world. You definitely do want more TR keys, so it probably makes a lot of sense to dip Eastern right now.
Yeah, and I think that you feel a lot more silly going up the mountain and then realizing your answer's in Eastern and you were right here than you do doing Eastern and realizing your answer's up on the mountain.
Yeah.
I, of course, always play by the guiding principle of what's going to embarrass me less.
I'll give these guys advice that I would never take myself. Eastern's probably the right play, so I'm probably headed to Death Mountain here.
This is why commentating is way more fun than being the runner. So one more check here for SEJay and Eastern.
That's not the small key we're looking for. Not at all.
No, there was some hope blossoming. There's still hope in Hookshot Cave here for there to be a TR small, or in TR itself, like we said with Pod. There are enough TR small keys that there's a decent chance of finding one in TR. Although it looks like we are not going there yet. We did get Pyramid Fairy access with Pod, so SEJay paying attention to the seed. Unlike some of the commentators, me, he's noticed he's got the Pyramid Fairy, so it definitely makes sense to check that before heading up.
Yeah, 100%. That's something I forgot. Pod was a red crystal as well.
Well, it's always tough in keys, right, where your maps are all distributed. I don't know how we found the information. Someone did a map check, maybe. I don't know. It's a little harder. So Dazed gets his pod crystal and evens up the crystal count, or the dungeon count, I should say.
Yeah, he's also.
Do have the Tower of Hera big key at this point. Yeah, I think it's hard hard to leave behind Eastern at this point. Like you said, there's fewer and fewer checks remaining here. You're going to go up the mountain and hope
Nice
that you can just
rod.
finish it up.
I was getting some chop there, but I saw an ice rod and a big key.
It was the big key to Eastern Palace, so maybe it's heading right back over there to finish that up.
That is so mean for the game to do.
That's a relatively tame prank on the behalf of the game, you know.
You just dip Eastern, you gotta head straight back. It doesn't cost either of these runners anything because they're both doing it, so it's not too bad. But...
That one was for chat. Sahabot threw that one in there for chat.
Yeah, with Pod being the red crystal, and you're certainly going to do that after Swamp and this seed every time. So, yeah, that's just the game being like, here, waste a couple minutes on Easter when it's the right play.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing that I think in the heat of a race you can convince yourself, maybe my opponent did Pyramid Fairy first and I just lost the time it takes to go back to Eastern. It's not likely, you know, if you're thinking about it, you know, without being under pressure, nobody's going to do that. But I think it's the sort of thing that's just plausible enough to get yourself paranoid about.
Well, that big key in the big chest is a huge well, I guess not, but... Ganon's our big key, so that's one less thing we need. Pretty much
Yeah, we're
TR keys.
zeroing in on go mode here. Yeah, I think one more TR small for SEJay and 2 more for Dazed. And a Castle Tower small key, we can't forget that.
Yeah. Does SEJay have the TR big key? I have no idea where that was.
He does not appear to. Not sure where that is that Dazed has checked, and SEJay hasn't. Oh, it was on Green Pendant. That's right, yeah. And SEJay definitely turned in Green Pendant, so just a mismark there.
Yeah, I kind of figured. These guys have done a lot. As you do.
Yeah, and Dazed skipping Pyramid Fairy, which is not that big of a deal. You know, unless Armos here has something important, which he doesn't, he's going to have to go back down the mountain to finish up Eastern. Actually, you know, in this case, SEJay's going to be able to go right into GT if he can find a TR small up here on the mountain. So this could potentially be pretty big with Dazed skipping Pyramid Fairy. So now SEJay following up the mountain. I imagine they're both going to do Hera, run over, check Hookshot Cave, hop into Turtle Rock, and you know, at this point, I'm not sure where else that other Turtle Rock small could be other than Hera or TR or Hookshot Cave. So looking pretty good for SEJay here to be able to finish up the mountain and hop right into GT.
Yeah, I don't know that there's much left out there, so those keys should be here, and getting to clear all of this all at once is definitely good for him.
Yeah, and a very good point by chat, TR being the last pendant. I think, do we have confirmation on that, or is Hera the last pendant? I guess we'll find out in a moment here. That means that TR small could be in GT, which is not the end of the world. If it's in the basement of GT, you get your TR small, and then before you go up the climb, you're going to mirror out, go finish up TR so that you don't have to come back up the mountain.
Yeah, this is potentially quite bad for Dazed if he decides to dip TR and the keys he needs are in GT before going back to Pyramid Ferry Eastern.
And you know, to be honest, I think it's hard not to at this point, right? Because you're looking at TR. Well, I guess he's got 2 smalls. He can't get very far in TR, but that still represents more items than he could get in Pyramid Ferry, and it's right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Curious to see if SEJay checks Hair Basement here, or knowing that he can get most of the way through TR, if he gambles and skips it, intending to come back after checking Hookshot Cave in TR.
Looks like he's skipping it for
Yeah,
now.
I think this is the right play for him at this point. He knows he's got GT access, so that's 20 some odd checks in addition to Hookshot Cave and whatever he can do in TR. So the chances of Hera Basement being the answer are a lot smaller than for Dazed. And it's easy enough to go back in if he, finishes Hookshot Cave and doesn't get what he's looking for. But I guess the question here is, do you go into TR and hope that your small key's in there, or do you go into GT? It looks like he's interestingly opting for that over even Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, that's definitely it's a choice. It's a pretty interesting one to go straight into TR. I don't hate checking like these first 3 or so, because they're sort of like offshoots, not along the main path, but I feel like you gotta go with density, probably. I don't know. And Hookshot Cave plus GT is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think going past Chain Chomps is certainly a mistake here.
Pod key we needed.
Which is the gross answer here, right? Like that if I mean, I guess you only need 1 TR small at this point, unless the Castle Tower small is in Lava Chest. So the vanilla big key chest in Pod doesn't loom large quite yet.
Castle Tower key. There we go. So TR small and a TR big from Go Mode.
They have the TR big already. They got that off of the Green Pendant. So just the TR small is all that's left.
Right. We're stuck in prison here. Almost.
Yeah, Chomp's not playing nice. Wisely using the cape there. I think that's the right move.
I was kind of wondering if having just being 1 key from Go Mode, if maybe you do continue on in TR and hope it's there. I don't know if that changes anything.
Yeah, that gets you all the way down to Laser Bridge. I think the problem there is then getting up to, if the answer is GT, you got to abandon your portal.
Well, you can get back, but it's kind of slow.
Oh, right, you wouldn't be able to get all the way down the Laser Bridge anyway. Yeah, the ugly answer is if both of these TR smalls somehow end up being like on the climb of GT, because then you're definitely having to come back up the mountain again.
Yeah, for sure. And plus you're gonna clear all of GT here and etc. But you do have to do the climb anyways, so it's basically just double dipping the mountain, force double dip if it's up there.
Getting teased by
Yeah.
the small key and double fire bar room. Meanwhile, Dazed is making the play to go deeper into TR. If the answer ends up being in Mimic or on Laser Bridge, that pulls back some of that deficit for Dazed.
Yeah, unfortunately he doesn't have that ice rod, so he can't full clear no matter what. He can probably save his portal and get the ice rod.
Oh, that's right. Ice Rod was the other important thing in Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, double required items.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy was important. It's definitely for Day's sake, a little bit of shame he didn't hop in there. GG, empty as always, so far.
Yeah, it seems like in 80 keys, GT is either just dead empty or has your required big keys for the pendant dungeons in nasty locations. It's rare to not have to clear the basement of GT in an 80 keys.
So if SEJay finds nothing in the basement of GT, does he just climb then? Does he dip the back of TR? He probably just climbs, eh?
Well, I think it depends on if he remembers what Mystic in chat just pointed out, that there is a small key sitting on Lumberjack, which could be the TR small that you need. So, I think that might lead you more towards climbing and hope that that's your answer.
Yeah, I suppose you can climb and you do Aga Tower right away.
Yeah, then go check Lumberjack, and then if that's not your answer, then it's probably deeper in TR and you go back up. SEJay's setting up for a quick kill of the Ice Armos, getting a little bit off, a little too slow in getting up to that top wall, but he's got enough arrows to clean this up.
Yeah, it gets bonked around a little bit. That's not too big a time loss. Ooh. Oh! Mystery Mire! We're finding all the small keys.
Yeah, it looks like TR was not the answer. Oh no, it was the answer. Yeah, Dazed was there on Laser Bridge with one TR key left. He just does not have the Ice Rod. So we'll see after SEJay finishes the basement here, if he decides to go back over to TR. It's possible that Lumberjack is also the answer, with there being two TR spots still available.
Lumberjack is a much nicer spot for him than that one, I would say. Just because you have to do Aga Tower anyways in all dungeons. Yeah, Dazed with the Fury swipes there before the bird comes. Knows he messed up a little bit by not doing this first.
But he's going to make up some time because, he's got that other castle tower small. He's not going to have to clear the basement of GT like SEJay's doing here.
Yeah, that's true.
Still got to go back and finish Eastern.
Yeah, it depends big time, I think, where that other TR small key is.
It's a really interesting question about whether you gamble on it being in TR at this point after having cleared out the basement of GT. Do you mirror and hope that it's on TR? You can save your portal after clearing out TR.
No bottles. It's the slow text. So is that go mode for Dazed, or is he still missing something?
I think that's go mode for Dazed. Yeah. He's got both
Yeah.
Castle Tower Smalls. He already went into TR and got that. With
What
that,
he's doing there, in case it wasn't obvious for anyone, is death warping. If you save and quit, you lose your mirror portal, but if you death warp, you don't. So that gets him back to Light World. Mirroring also kills your portal, so he wants to save that portal at the back of Turtle Rock, so he doesn't have to go back through.
he left his portal on the laser bridge exit, not on the Mimic one, so he definitely can hop down to his portal.
That would be a shame to try and save your portal on the Mimic Cave Ledge.
Oh, chat is saying that, did he mirror and then go out Mimic? Oh, that's unfortunate.
I don't remember. I thought it was the back, but I could be wrong.
He certainly checked laser bridge, but if chat's saying that he mirrored before leaving TR, then yeah, it's possible that we've got an unfortunate situation where he's going to have to go all the way back through TR again. And now Dazed is in go mode, having picked up
Right.
his GT big key.
Forgot about that big key there. So gets to skip the GT basement, but I feel like likely he's still a bit behind SEJay here. Depending exactly when SEJay picks up that one of the two TR keys.
Yeah, and the benefit for SEJay is, even though he's going to have to make another mountain climb, once he beats TR, he can leave the dungeon and he'll just be able to save and quit and be put right above Ganon to drop in. So he won't lose any time in getting to Ganon once he finishes TR.
Ooh. It's not a day for Armos Knights. Although, Armos on ice is a little bit trickier than Eastern Armos.
Yeah, and it's tough this late in the seed when you know you've made a mistake. You're just trying to get through, maybe rushing a bit. It's understandable to see a little bit of execution error there, but still cleaned it up pretty nicely.
I don't know, nearly 2 hours into 80 keys, do you ever feel good?
I don't think. Well, we've already said neither of us feel good doing 80 keys from the moment we start, so perhaps we're not the right ones to answer that question.
That's fair, that's fair. People do love this mode though. It gets voted into the ladder, like, very strongly.
I used to like this mode, and then I played it more. It's not the worst mode. I don't mind it every once in a while, but in terms of doing it in League and feeling like I would need to practice doing a bunch of seeds in a row, that they end up feeling more like a grind than other modes for me. And there's a lot to do here, and for some, I think that's the draw of it. Is it's just more seed to do, more things to find. It's a bigger puzzle, and for others, it just feels like work.
Agatu trolling a little bit there. Dazed is having to go back through, so yeah.
Well, at least he didn't. I don't think he hopped down. I think he must have realized his mistake. Yeah, and the good news for SEJay, if it could be good news, as chat's pointing out, there's not really any other small keys that are still left in the world. So chances are very high that that lumberjack key is TR, in which case he can just jet his way through TR. He'll be able to save a little bit of time skipping all the checks on Laser Bridge, everything else on his way through. So that'll make up a little bit of time that Dazed had to spend in finding that small key in TR.
It could be a Palace of Darkness key.
The tracker seems to be showing all 6 Palace of Darkness keys for Dazed, which seems to indicate that I think he found that possibly in TR.
Yeah, I guess that's true then. It can't be. So, no other options.
SEJay making good use of the butter sword that he picked up. Makes butter sword, silver arrows, half magic, makes Aga Tower a dream compared to, say, NMG equipment. So in lieu of a big key guessing game, since they already had GT, it's unofficial, but get your guesses in chat of how many blue balls you think. It's a weighted game. Unlike the GT big key guessing game, it's not an even chance of all of them, but what do you think, chat? See, who's sick of watching this race based on your answers?
The usual answers are 3 because that's most likely, or 15 because you want the runners to suffer some more.
Or 0 if you're just wait for it to be done. Yeah, this is gonna be. I think this is gonna be close. SEJay's still got to go all the way back through TR. Dazed has got to do the GT climb and Aga Tower.
Yeah, everything go mode makes probably the biggest difference in TR. Of the 3 left. Well, not having to do GT basement if you count that. It's bigger.
That's a very big time save, yeah.
Yeah. We got, I don't know, climb is 4-ish minutes probably. Aga Tower is pretty quick with this equipment, but I don't know, maybe a couple minutes.
Yeah, it looks like the Aga climb was about equivalent to the TR that Dazed just did. SEJay was entering Aga Tower at about when Dazed was going into TR, so. Moment of truth for SEJay if this lumberjack key is the right one. Or is he checking? Oh, he's checking Magic Bat first. I don't know that I agree with this when you know that there's a small key on lumberjack.
Well, let's hope that he does know.
That's a fair point. We saw Dazed check it. We haven't seen. I don't know if we saw him check it. That was so long ago.
If you know, it's a bit odd not to go straight there.
Yeah, and he's pulling out his flute, so he may just be. Yeah, either way, if he heads up to the mountain, that'll be his answer, but at the cost of some time. Looks like he's headed that way now.
Yeah.
This is really interesting because, you know, through a lot of the match, they had different routes, and it looks like all the way down to the really very end, they're going to have different routes. So, moment of truth, it is RTR small. So, SEJay is now finally in go mode.
Just as dazedcloud makes his way through the gauntlet.
So the one other consideration here, I mean, they're on Buttersword with silver arrows, but Dazed will be dropping in again and definitely on full health since he'll be doing Agate Tower right beforehand. Whereas SEJay, if he does the save and quit, he'll be on, what is it, 7 hearts or so. I don't know if he has potions, but you know, I think we're close enough that those sort of considerations could make a difference here.
Actually, Dazed does not have silver arrows since they're in Hope Room and he's in go mode.
Oh, well, and there's another 30 seconds or so that that's different between our runners. So
Yeah, that definitely.
it wasn't all wasted time in that GT basement.
I don't know what does it take to clear GT basement? 6 minutes, 5 minutes, or something like that. So
Way longer than Silver's save you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a silver lining there. Hey, you wasted 6 minutes, but at least you get 30 seconds back.
That is checking that chest. That's such a meme. He'll do. I bet he'll do the Moldorm chest as well.
I mean, I think we've all had a seed where your silver arrows were in one of these checks, and if that's not enough to always check it every time, no matter what, I don't know what is. It worked once, therefore you got to waste all of the time in checking it.
Why not always check Hope Room then in this situation? Why these ones in particular? I guess it's a few extra transitions.
Yeah, you know, it's a few extra seconds to check Hope Room versus ones that are in rooms you're already in.
Alright, dazedcloud on to Agate 2. See if he can have a slightly cleaner fight.
Not very
a great
friendly
start.
patterns.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Ooh, 1 and 0.
Meanwhile, SEJay heading back through Crystal Roller Room. He'll be able to skip Laser Bridge and head right to Trinex after he gets through the platform maze. Yeah, these Agate 2 patterns, man, they are tough.
Pretty tough, but it takes some. I think their Agate 2 fights were pretty similar length.
Yeah, SEJay did not have a good Agate 2 fight either.
Also, it's like the hardest fight in the game to do really well.
And probably one of the least fun parts of the game to practice, so.
So, Trinex versus all of Agate Tower.
Yeah, as they are finishing up their respective dungeons that they need to clear here, it's looking more like a healthy lead for SEJay, although anything can happen in a Ganon fight, in a Trinex fight. Got Trinex down for SEJay, while dazedcloud is screaming his way through Agate Tower here with a gold sword and Not silver arrows, but still got the half magic and the fire rod.
Yeah, just a save and quit away here, so it's pretty much in SG's or CJ's favor right now.
Well, and it's certainly in SG's favor, everybody here on Speed Gaming watching this race. It's been a good one.
Gold sword, silver arrows.
Yeah, really the big difference here is that Pyramid Fairy play. Even the Red Cane knowledge made a little bit of difference early, but they were really neck and neck even after that. This was all Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, definitely. Would have been interesting if they both done Pyramid Fairy and one of them had still continued in TR, because that would have been clearable right then. There goes Ganon for SEJay. Those GG's in chat. Just over the 2-hour mark.
I think what would have been interesting is if the Eastern Palace Big was in Pyramid Fairy, but the Ice Rod was elsewhere, which would have allowed Daze to finish TR. That would have made for a real interesting finish to this. But as it turns out, SEJay is able to take it down, winning Game 2 for New Hyrule Order and putting us, up 2-0. With Game 3 to come in, just under half an hour here.
Yeah, really quick here.
So almost exactly again in fight ahead. dazedcloud dropping in. He's going to finish this out, take down Ganon without the silver arrows, but that's not going to be too much of an issue here, I can't imagine. We'll watch dazedcloud finish this out and then see if we can get the runners in here for a quick interview before Chimo needs to run off and start warming up. So we're just going to wait here for Daze to finish up. He's in phase 4 of Ganon. Making pretty quick work of this, getting some triples in here. Ganon cooperating as always, going to the farthest possible corner. And that'll do it. Just one small bridge left to cross for Daze to get your GGs in chat. And we are joined here by SEJay.
Hello.
Winner of this match, GG.
GG.
Jeez.
Thank you. Thank you. I was shaking. I was real nervous at the end there. I did not feel good full clearing GT and not finding a TR small.
Yeah, was there any thought about going deeper into TR before heading over to GT?
Yeah. So my plan initially was to go all the way through TR and just if it wasn't there, it wasn't there. Until I found the Aga key, I think is what I found, the Castle Tower key. And then after I found that, it was like, well, there's 2 TR keys left in the world. I've got like 7 checks in here where it would be, or 6 checks left in TR where it would have been useful because lava chest would have not been helpful at all. So it was 6 chests there versus the 27 in the climb. And so I was like 6 versus 27. I'll take the 27. And I mean, I figured if nothing else, I was at least going to get silvers out of the deal because that just is how it goes. And then, sorry if you can hear in the background, my daughter's having a party in the living room. But I then finished and I'd gotten powder and it was like, okay, well my checks are Lumberjack Ledge, Magic Bat, and the 1 check in Pod. And again, there was 2 Turtle Rock keys, so I was never touching Pod. And so I decided I was going to do Magic Bat and a Lumberjack Ledge, and if all of that was dead, I was just going to go back and, you know, full clear Turtle Rock and feel bad about it. But I don't know if the other one was in there. If it is, feels bad.
It was indeed, yeah. Yeah, and we're joined here by Dazed as well, GG Dazed.
Hey, GG there, CJ.
GG's, good race.
Yeah, yeah, no, I that felt so good at the beginning, and then the moment I opened up Pyramid Fairy, I made a terrible mistake, and then I tried to save myself, but I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go and like jump back into the back of Turtle Rock, finish that real quick, and then go do Eastern. And then the moment I did that, I remembered, wait a minute, you mirrored at Mimic Cave, you didn't mirror at the back of it. That's not going to work. You just lost yourself another 2 minutes. And how much did I lose by? Oh, 2 minutes.
yeah. If you had successfully saved the portal at TR, this probably would have been a photo finish because, yeah, Pyramid Fairy put you behind, but you know that was balanced by CJ full clearing the basement of GT.
Yeah, do you want to know where anything was? Because
I imagine you found the silvers there, didn't you?
Yep, silvers was Hope Room.
Was it just Hope Room, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I think powder was in there. Like everything was in there again. I was completely astonished that with only 2 Turtle Rock keys to my name, that there was not a single one in all of GT. So as soon as I finished GT without a single TR key, I felt probably the same thing that you felt when you found Pyramid Fairy. It's just like, oh no, that's a lot of time.
Now, did you remember that there was a small key on Lumberjack? Had you checked that earlier?
I didn't check it. I hadn't gotten the Aga key all game, so my thought with Lumberjack and 80 keys is if I get both Aga keys, I'm going to beat Aga and check Lumberjack. Like, without the second Aga key, it didn't really matter to me what was on the ledge because I couldn't get it no matter what. And even if I found that Aga key on Turtle Rock, there's no way I'm leaving the mountain to go check Lumberjack Ledge in the state, like in the situation I was in. Like, I still was last locating it, so it didn't make any difference to me.
So without that knowledge, then, did you consider going deeper into TR after doing GT Basement?
Yes, but my thought was I have the GT Climb, which could still have it, and that was 6 chests versus 4 now, which isn't as great. But then Magic Bat and Lumberjack made it a 6-6, so like a 50-50 split. And if I had to dive TR and it wasn't there, that was a guaranteed like dive back into the depths of TR and then diving it again, versus if it was on the GT Climb or Lumberjack or Magic Bat, it was like, I mean, I'll get it and come back and I'll only have to dive through TR once, was kind of my thought process at the time.
Fair enough. So Daze, we wanted to ask you about your opening route. You got pretty creative early in this seed. We didn't get to see a whole lot of it because of the issues with delay, but we saw you, I think we picked up where you were mirroring in CAC and doing your CAC checks with the Village of Outcasts. So we're curious, what did you do to start the seed that ended up with you not touching CAC until you were in Village of Outcasts?
Yeah, first off, sorry about that. I didn't even notice that I didn't have that set up there. I did everything else to get the race ready, and then I forgot to click the one button that says, add the delay. But so what I did at the beginning there is I started Sank and Houlihan, then Houlihan down, and I immediately went to Sasharala, see if there's anything in there. There was only like the blue mail in there. Then I went and I basically started checking everything in the south here. So I first went over to, I did Dam and Desert, found the hammer there. And since Pearl was in Sanctuary, that was kind of put me in a pretty good shape there. Then I went straight down and went to what was it called there? The mini Moldworm cave. Pulled some stuff out of there. Pulled the glove. Pulled the flute. And then I thought about for just a second. I went, you know what? I thought about just like saving and quitting immediately, but I went, well, I've got Dark World access. Let me at least check Hype Cave. So I check Hype Cave. And I get mitts and everything else out of that. So like the first 10 minutes, I am just flying through everything. I think I had 90% of the items before 25 minutes of the game. So I'm feeling really, really good for that early time there. Like the only thing that I wasn't really sure if I did the right thing was when I was in Skull, I decided that I would to not kill Moth then, just because I was like, I wanted to go and check like like Bumper Ledge and stuff like that, and it was just that. So at that point, things started to go a little sideways there for me. But like, yeah, I got to check so much of the overworld without really any problem there. So like when I got mitts, I walked up into Village of Outcasts there, and I'm like, that'd be really funny if I find hi Mirror. And,
it was a fortuitous item for both of you because SEJay had already picked up the smith and then walked into C-shaped house, funny. And I think Chimo said, boy, it's nice that he knew that the mirror was going to be right there.
Yeah, I grabbed Smith, did Bombable Hut chess game, and then walked over to Sea House, found Mirror, and I was like, well, I really hope something good isn't in the front four of Thieves Town, and for a while that was really weighing on my mind of what I left in the front four of Thieves Town, but yeah, the seed was super loaded early. I did the same thing with Skullwoods. I had 5 hearts. I wasn't going to mess with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just like, well, I got 5 hearts, blue mail, and half magic and stuff like that. I don't know why. I think maybe the first time I didn't have half. I don't remember honestly. I think I went back down south to get like the Cave 45 checks and stuff, and that's when I got half magic off the dig spot. And yeah, so I mean, the early route was fantastic. It's just what killed me was the Pyramid Fairy. I mean, that's what killed me.
That and the knowledge of Red Cane on Desert got SEJay a little bit of an advantage there. He had checked that, so he knew that was there. He was able to do Icebreaker, where you jumped into Ice Palace and didn't have the Red Cane for that.
Oh yeah, those bootlock things. I was so mad because I tried to put off the mountain so long because I was like, I know where Cane is and I know where Hookshot is. Like, just give me the boots and I can do really, really thorough clear of Death Mountain. And then nothing was there. And then the whole mountain felt like it had nothing until I finally found Flipper's last in Spike Cave. And I was like, okay, well, since this is the only thing I found up here, I guess I better follow it. And luckily that led to boots that unlocked everything. But I was not happy about the boot locked items early.
See, I saw boots like, I would say within the first minute, because that's my route there. Because after doing the Houlihan, I go and buy bombs at that one Lake Hilo shop, and then I was just like, oh, okay, so there's boots, okay. And then I saw Hookshot. Now, I didn't know about Cane, and yeah, it probably would have been better if I'd gone to Desert first instead of going to Ice Palace. But I'm like, I've got the Ice Palace big key. I'm going to Ice Palace. There's 8 items in there. I'm going to Ice Palace. And so I did. Yeah, it was real. I did that. I in the bomb jump. I don't think I lost that much time in it. I maybe lost like 30 seconds to, or maybe a minute. But I mean,
just out of curiosity, did you get your small key for it first? From Swamp?
No, because where was Small Key to Swamp again? Wasn't it in like the Mire Shed or something?
It was in the Mire area.
Yeah. So yeah, I dove Mire area super early too, because I mean, to a fault. I see Mitts, Flute, and Mirror, and I'm like, well, there goes 4 minutes of my life.
Yeah, no, I was thinking I was gonna go in there. It was on the list of things to do. I was basically feeling really, really good most of the seed up until the end when I just made that terrible, terrible Pyramid Fairy call. But like the thing is like listening to what you did and listening to kind of like what it sounds like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this back or not. I think it might just make me angry.
Yeah, but, I'll be honest a little bit. I did not feel. Let me put it this way: I would take skipping pyramid over doing all the GT. That felt so bad because you're a good runner, like a really good runner, and so like full clearing GT for nothing. I was like, oh no, like, this is not good.
Well, like both of us picked the value place, I guess. I mean, like the
Yeah.
density place, and both of us were really wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I think what was most interesting this seed was that you guys had basically completely different routes through, and yet it was clear that it was a very close race. So you checked things at different times. CJ got knowledge about the cane, but Dazed had the more efficient early route because of the Houlihan, and it made for a really fun race to watch because we're watching and you guys are clearing things that the other one has done, and it's clear that it was close, but it wasn't until CJ was at Trinex that we could really get a firm grasp on what it looked like in terms of who was ahead. So well done by both of you. I do want to be cognizant of my co-com, who is probably furiously preparing right now for his race, which starts in a couple minutes. So we're going to clear the air here so that he can get set up and going, and the rest of us who are all interested in that match can settle in, maybe get an adult beverage and watch that match between Chimo and Irritable Penguin, who's getting on here in about just over 10 minutes. So any final thoughts before we go?
Good luck to both of them. Dazed, it was a great race. I'm happy that it was close for the viewers, and yeah, GG's and good luck to the rest of your guys' playoffs. Hopefully it's one more game.
I'm gonna go for game 5, but we'll see what happens there. But GG's to you there, CJ. You totally deserve that one. So, other than that, go Chimo. See you guys around. And thanks for everything.
All right. And with that, I think we're going to leave it there. If you have a chance, give these guys a follow. Thanks to our crew, to our restreamer, and to our tracker, the unsung heroes here. And just bringing up the schedule here. It looks like we've got our race on one of the SpeedGaming channels. I don't know which one off the top of my head, but I'm sure we are going to raid there from here. So stay tuned and you will see that match. And otherwise, have a good night.